Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Today's webinar is on how to manage your assets and software licenses with the help of Asset Explorer. My name is Dhruv Patel and I am a senior pre-sales solutions engineer. I can help you with any ManageEngine queries in New Zealand. For those of you who don't know what is ManageEngine, ManageEngine is a global brand that offers wide range of software to manage your entire IT infrastructure. Soft Solutions is the exclusive distributor for all ManageEngine products in New Zealand, with 700 plus customers in New Zealand. Some of the big customers in New Zealand are Intel, Flight Centre, some government councils, and most of the telcos and energy companies in New Zealand uses ManageEngine solutions. That's our today's agenda. I will be walking you through Asset Explorer as a solution and its key features, some use cases on most common issues and their best practices, and different ways of scanning and importing assets into the Asset Explorer, and a Q&A session at the end. All right, let's get started with what is Asset Explorer. Asset Explorer is a web-based IT asset management software that helps you monitor and manage assets in your network from planning phase to disposal phase. The solution provides you a number of ways to ensure discovery of all the assets in your network. You can manage software and hardware assets, ensure software licenses, compliance, and track purchase orders and contracts, and lots more. Asset Explorer is really easy to install and works right out of the box. Do you free up all the software licenses when a staff leaves your organization? Normally, what happens when an employee leaves, system administrators disable their user accounts and redirect their emails, but usually don't unassign their software licenses. Then, when a new employee joins, a new software license gets assigned from the license pool, and these leads to the license wastage. While not all the licenses are expensive, every dollar still counts regardless of the business size, right? So let's look at the best ways to deal with these kind of situations. Well, the idea is to find the easy and reliable way to track the license usage regularly. The manual way of tracking the licenses would be very hard and I guess boring too. The most ideal would be to get an automatic report with all the details of unused licenses and gets passed into your mailbox every week, once a month, or once 2 months, depending on your requirements. So just imagine if these things works really well, none of your licenses gets wasted and you will always be so proactive in your license management. Similar thing about the hardware warranty management. How do you know if a particular hardware is about to expire or retire? In many organizations, hardware lifecycle stage is not tracked proactively, and thus the expired state of the asset gets discovered either after the hardware has been expired or just a few days before the expiry date. This creates a massive issue in budgeting because of the very small lead time, and you have to raise a purchase order as early as possible. As an IT asset manager, you definitely want to know the asset expiration before the end user does, isn't it? As it would create a very bad image, especially when you are an IT support provider company. So, how would you fix it? To be ahead of the game, you have to track your hardware warranty time to time. The best practice is to schedule a report on all the hardware that are getting expired in next 3 to 6 months or even longer. This would give you a time for budgeting and would let you prepare for the migration projects. For example, let's assume you are running a critical application server in-house and the server hardware warranty is getting expired, or let's say it has recently expired. Then you get a notification for a hard disk failure. What would you do? Your vendor is not going to support you because your hardware is out of your warranty. You'll probably have to rush to buy a new hard disk, or may have to buy a new server because you cannot afford more hardware failures, right? Can you imagine the criticality level for this particular situation? On the other hand, if you have got the notification on the warranty status 6 months to 8 months prior to the expiry date, just imagine how much time would you have to plan your budget, buy new hardware, and plan the project to migrate that particular application. So these kind of proactive approaches also plays a massive role in service delivery. Okay. Also, how would you discover all the potential impacts before making any change in your infrastructure? To be very honest with you, I personally have struggled a lot, especially when the document is not properly done. But since we had to follow a full-fledged change management process, all the undiscovered impacts used to get rectified either at the peer review stage or at the technical account manager's approval stage. But what if you don't have a fully fledged change management process? With many organizations, lots of times before implementing the change, all the impacts are not properly discovered, usually because of the lack of adequate tools or because of improper documentation. And that would result in impacting the production environment or sometimes resulting in a downtime. The change engineers have to roll back their change, which will result in the wastage of time and resources. So how can we deal with this situation? Imagine if you have something like configuration item relationship map from where you can actually relate all the hardware, software, and application dependencies with each other. Would that be ideal? I think so, because you actually have the clear picture of all the dependencies and the potential impacts associated with that particular change. You will be really happy to know that ManageEngine Asset Explorer already have got that feature inbuilt, which would let you find all the dependencies. So before even rebooting a small access point, it will tell you who is connected to that particular access point. So when you try to reboot, you know that who is going to lose their internet. So just imagine how much dependencies you can pull out before rebooting a server. That would be so ideal, right? And this feature would also be useful in finding out how many hardware, software, licenses, or other assets have been assigned to a particular user in your organization. Let's discuss about some of the ways of scanning the assets. Number one, Windows domain scan. This way scans all the Windows workstations and servers that are part of Windows domain. You can also scan workstations using an agent or agentless mode, which which scans machines using WMI. Second, network scan scans workstations and devices that are part of your network range on the basis of IP range or subnets. Third, you can scan Windows workstations and server outside the domain using standalone workstation audit or by installing an agent in the remote machine. Fourth, workstation or device scan can be used to scan an individual or newly added machine into your network. Fifth, For all the remotely located workstations that cannot be accessed by the central Asset Explorer server, a remote server is installed in each location, which scans the workstation's information and pushes the data to the central Asset Explorer server, either manually or automatically. Okay, so these are the three real life challenges that we have covered today. How to identify unused and underutilized licenses, how to proactively monitor complete asset lifecycle, and what are the benefits of configuration item relationship map. Managing Asset Explorer has got capacity to solve all these real life challenges and many more just by proactively monitoring and scheduling auto reports. An email can get parked into your mailbox with fully fledged details every Monday morning. And that's how the dashboard looks like. On the left hand side, you can see IT and non-IT assets. So basically, every device that has got an IP address falls under IT assets. And all the devices like monitors, keyboards, mouse that doesn't have an IP address falls under non-IT assets. You can also include table and chair in your non-IT assets. Do you see the scan tab in red on top? With that, you can run a query for the information of new assets entering or leaving your organization. We at Soft Solution have set the auto scan, and we get the scheduled report every Monday morning, 6 a.m. with all the details. It's really helpful. This is a sample report which I have pulled out with all the information of licenses assigned and available to assign. Every single thing you see on this report is customizable. You can put some more graphs or add pictures. For any IT support providers, I think good reporting is very important, not only from monitoring point of view, but also from account management point of view. Because you definitely want to present these kind of reports to your customers as a part of your IT roadmap, so that they also know what hardware or licenses needs to be bought down the line and set their budget accordingly. And that's how CI relationship map looks like, which I've been talking about. So SDP Hyper-V in the center is my server, and I am trying to pull out all the dependencies for this server. So if it goes down, it shows me all the applications which will stop working. And this way, I can get the information for any machine or the user in the network. Please feel free to ask me any questions, and I'll try my best to answer all your questions. Yes, John. So John is asking how to pull out information for the server sitting in DMZ. This can be done, John, by either standalone workstation audit or by installing an agent in the machine. So basically, both the methods involves script installed in the remote workstations, which scans and pushes the inventory detail to the AE server. Okay. Yes, Michael. So Michael is asking what is the cost of Asset Explorer. Michael, the price of Asset Explorer basically depends on the number of IT assets you would like to monitor. I'm happy to chat about it in detail offline. Yeah, all the non-IT assets are free, so you don't need to buy licenses for them. Okay, that's a good one, William. So William is asking, does Asset Explorer only supports Windows? That's a really good question. So the answer to this is no. Asset Explorer not only supports Windows, but it also supports Linux, Mac, IBM AIX, and few more operating systems. Okay. Any more question, guys? All right. If you have any more questions or queries, feel free to flick us an email at sales@manageengine.co.nz and we will be very happy to assist you with all your queries. Thanks for joining in today. Appreciate your time. Thanks. Bye.